Sir,
I
I
will.
didn't ask you about. I didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you understand.
I will, however,
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying.
let me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted me.
We've got a wild court hearing for you guys today. This sovereign citizen just will not stop talking. Seriously, this dude won't even take a breather. He's in court because he thought skipping out on his probation officer was a good idea, which is pretty much just asking for trouble. Now, he's trying to argue his way out of it with a bunch of nonsense, but the judge is not messing around. The way the judge shuts him down so fast is honestly super satisfying to watch. Let me know what you guys think about these sovereign citizens and how courts should handle them. And if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, let's go ahead and dive in.
I am required to advise you at all stages of the proceeding that you do have a right to be represented by an attorney, and if you can't afford an attorney, the court will appoint one for you at public expense. Do you understand that?
I don't think you'd be violating your oath of office, Your Honor, by allowing me to the right to a fighting clause.
Sir, I didn't ask you about any of that. I asked you if you understand.
I will, however,
Mr. Matson, don't interrupt me. The question I asked you is whether you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney.
I do understand I have a right to be represented by an attorney or not. Yes, sir.
Okay. You've previously waived that right. As I said, I have to advise you that at every stage of the hearing. So I have to ask you again, would you like to be represented by an attorney at this point?
As I started to say, Your Honor, I don't want the representation. However, I will use the help of handling paperwork due to my means here and having access to certain things in paperwork. I will use your court-appointed attorneys just to help with some paperwork.
Okay, so you don't have a right to have the public defender's office do your paperwork or handle any of that. You have the right to have them represent you or not represent you. So that is your choice.
Not represent me, that's fine then.
All right. So you've previously been arraigned on the probation violation. Do you know how you want to proceed? So your options are you can plead to it if you want, which means you'd be admitting guilt. The other option is that I can set it for a hearing and we can have a hearing on the matter, and then I'll decide based on the evidence submitted at that hearing.
Your Honor, all due respect, I wish, are you working under oath of office today, sir?
Sir, I'm not going to answer these questions or deal with this. We've dealt with you before and your sovereign citizen arguments. I've rejected them all.
Citizen.
Sir, do not interrupt me. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead to
I'll take your silence under your oath, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to have a hearing or do you want to plead?
I want the hearing. I want to go to trial. I want to go within the 90 days to a trial or sooner.
All right. So Sierra will need about a 1-hour hearing on a probation violation.
As well as I'd like you to have the arresting officers that arrested me on that day. I would like their sergeant to be dressed in uniform and at that trial on that day as well, please.
These Zoom court hearings are just ridiculous. This guy keeps talking over everyone and interrupting the judge like he has no clue how any of this works. Honestly, he should probably be held in contempt at this point. It's just plain disrespectful. And what's with him saying he needs an attorney just for his paperwork? Pretty sure that's not how it works. Attorneys are there to represent you in court, not to babysit you through the filing process. I just can't believe this guy is serious. Does he actually believe what he's saying, or is he just messing around? Because I honestly can't tell, and then, out of nowhere, he starts talking about needing a sergeant at his hearing. Like, what? It's like he's just making things up as he goes, or maybe even following some kind of script. Either way, he seems clueless. But then, he randomly throws in these bizarre demands like calling in a sergeant, and I have no idea what his goal is here at this point. It just feels like he's trying to waste everyone's time. I seriously don't know how the judge is staying so calm, because if I were the judge, I'd be completely over it by now. Eventually, though, the judge does lose patience and snaps back at him. Let me know, do you guys think he's actually this clueless, or is he just playing dumb? Either way, let's go ahead and dive in.
All right, I think it will go more smoothly if you are here in person, so we will have you in person here from the jail.
All right, exactly what the hearing is going to be on that day?
So you've been charged with a violation of the terms of your probation.
Yeah.
For failing to report. So the hearing is going to be to determine whether or not you failed to report.
Okay, so it's going to be the trial that day.
Correct.
Okay, can I have the state police sergeant there at that trial?
What state police sergeant?
The state police sergeant of the arresting officers on the night of my arrest.
Who are the arresting officers?
I don't remember the exact names, but any state police sergeant in uniform would do.
Why do you want any state police sergeant to be present at the trial?
Just to show how arrests are made, and why they're made, and how they do the determination, how they bring people into jail.
Well, how is any of that relevant to whether or not you violated the terms of probation?
I believe there's a lot of relevancy there. I don't see where any of it's going to affect the courts in any way, shape, or form.
All right. So the issue that the court is going to determine has nothing to do with things that happened during your arrest. The issue is whether or not.
It's not about the arrest. It's about the arrest for the violation of probation as well.
All right. The only issue before the court that day is going to be whether or not you reported. So your arrest doesn't have any relevancy to that. So I'm not going to.
I beg to differ, Your Honor. I beg to differ because the jury is going to be a jury of my peers, and at this time,
sir,
you're not going to have a jury of my peers.
Sir, there's not going to be any jury. You're not entitled to a jury trial on a hearing about violating your probation.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I'm pretty sure that last time I spoke to you, you said that I had the right to a jury trial for determining if I was guilty for a violation of probation.
I've never seen you on this violation of probation.
I've seen you, or I've seen you just the other day, last week.
No, you didn't. A different judge conducted that hearing.
You're Michael Olsaver, aren't you? There was
Judge
Sloan, and then there was you. I've seen both.
You did not see me last week.
I did.
And so you're not entitled to a jury trial on a probation violation. So again, we will have you back in person on.
Well, hold up then. So if I'm not entitled to a trial to determine if I'm guilty or not, this is a criminal court, isn't it?
It's a criminal court where you have already pled guilty to a felony and been placed on probation.
Because I was at risk of dying in this.
I've muted Mr. Matson's device because he continues to interrupt me and not let me finish what I'm saying. Mr. Matson, I was saying that this is a criminal court wherein you have pled guilty to possessing a controlled substance, and you were placed on probation. As a result of that, your sentence was to be placed on probation. Subsequent to being sentenced to probation, there was an allegation that you failed to report in accordance with the terms of your probation. That is an alleged violation of probation. There's no right to a jury trial for a violation of probation. So the court will conduct.
Let me speak to.
I've muted Mr. Matson again because he unmuted himself and interrupted me. We will have you back on April 8th at 3:30, Mr. Matson. This hearing is concluded.
Let me know if you guys want to see the second half of this guy's hearing, because somehow it gets even crazier. For some reason, he's insisting on having a sergeant at his next hearing, and honestly, it makes zero sense. It's almost like he just wants an audience to watch him act ridiculous. And get this, the next hearing is just for his probation. It's not even about his arrest, so there's no reason for a sergeant to be there at all, but it gets even weirder. He wasn't just asking for a specific sergeant from that police force. No, he wanted the state sergeant. What? I seriously don't understand this guy. He's a total joke. Honestly, sovereign citizens like him should be held in contempt more often and actually charged for wasting the court's time. It's like they don't even take the judge seriously, and it's just painful to watch. The way they talk over everyone, refuse to follow the rules, and just make a mockery of a legal system makes the courts look weak. And don't even get me started on Zoom hearings. In my opinion, they just make things worse, especially for cases like this. People like sovereign citizens or those with mental health issues should honestly be required to appear in person. It at least guarantees some structure because over Zoom, there's none at all. In-person hearings would make it harder for these people to turn the entire process into a joke. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to wrap it up here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy videos like this, and let me know in the comments what you thought about this court hearing. Personally, I thought this guy was a little strange. He wasn't the craziest sovereign citizen I've seen, but he was definitely off his rocker. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I always love reading them, and I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.